I was in the 3rd grade in Libby, Montana when we took a test called the Iowa Basics Test. Everybody in the States takes it. It's a test to tell how smart or dumb your kids are. And when the principal and teacher got the results in, they called Mom and Dad into school. And I laid awake waiting for him to get home that night, because when the principal calls Dad, life, as you know, it's about to come to a screaming halt, so I was awake. We lived in a trailer at that time, had really thin walls. Dad didn't know for over 30 years that I overheard the conversation, but I did. It impacts me more now than it did even then, because I understand the message better. What they talked about in our little living room in our timber town was how to keep me from being a logger. Because my dad had been told that night that if I ended up being a logger, it was his fault. And he got the message. He was told that I had scored high on the Iowa Basics test, and I was going to be too smart to be a dumb old logger like him. And for the first time in that proud man's life, instead of looking down at his hands and seeing calluses on his palm and dirt under his fingernails, and that being a source of pride, because it built our company, it built our town, it built our state, it built our bloody nation. For the first time in his life, it was a source of shame and guilt. He had a heritage that wasn't worthy of passing on, at least to intelligent children. And he wrapped that misplaced mantle of guilt around his neck and wore it for decades. And I can tell you, when we put him in the ground a couple of years ago, I pray the mantle was gone. Because I got to work with him. I got to work with him for almost 40 years. I can tell you, when we were standing out in the forest, looking at a hillside of trees, trying to figure out how to apply modern forest management to that hillside. I have 2 degrees hanging on my wall. He didn't have a 1, and there was a stupid person standing there. It was not my father. He had more sustainable environmental information in his brain that came to him through his hands than he could have gotten with a doctorate degree from Yale. But he learned by doing. And for some reason, society has decided to discount that knowledge base. Because what happens at the leading export of our interior area in Montana is young, well-educated, well-rounded children. We can be left with Scary Larry and his idiot brother in a 1952 John Deere tractor trying to do what? We need our smart kids back. We need our smart kids in our forests, in our fields. It's going to take really creative kids doing really creative things to feed and clothe 11 billion people and save the planet. And for me, that's what it's about. I have grandkids, and if they want to come back and take the flag of Vincent logging and try to figure out how to take it into the next century, they're going to do it without a social class head trip. We have a heritage that we are proud of, we have a right to be proud of, and we have a future that we're excited about. That's what keeps my fire going. I'm going to leave you with what Mom left. When Mom checked out, she knew that I had a tendency to try to eat elephants. So after tomorrow, you're going to learn a lot of stuff, and I've seen your agenda. I wish I could stay for some really cool stuff. When you leave here, you're going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of information. What I ask you to do is commit to doing something. 1 hour a week of activism, doing something. And since I try to eat elephants, Mom left me this, and I leave you with it. It is from numberless diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is shaped. Each time a man stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. And crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. That's Bobby Kennedy, South Africa, 1966. It's also ILMA 2016, Nelson, BC. You don't have to go home and try to be a wave. You've got to make a living, you've got a family to take care of, but you have got to leave here committed to being a ripple. And together, you will make a wave. There's a way to save the last best places. It's just going to take the last best people standing together to do it. This logger from Libby couldn't be proud to stand here with you. Thanks.